Good day. My name is Haidar and my colleagues Islam and Usama. Today we'll be presenting our proposal for the senior design project midterm. Our project is a self-learning colony. It is supervised by Dr. Arif and Miss Marta. Starting with our project. First thing we'll talk about is the introduction. And the first part in the introduction is the background. So, artificial intelligence is no longer just a theme of science fiction movies, it's a reality that is shaping our present and future. And with the appearance of the human robots like Sophia, she revolutionized how we perceive what can be achieved with technology. Now, the use of AI in architecture is already being expressed through things like parametricism, where AI softwares are used in the process of form finding to generate different forms that are so complex that your mind probably couldn't think of it and your hand probably couldn't sketch it. Here you can see a sci-fi futuristic movie called Tomorrow's Land, where they used the design of the architect Santiago Caltrava to predict how future cities would look like. A lot of the great innovation in AI and technology was inspired from nature, robots being designed to mimic how we naturally interact and communicate and learn from each other. This also expanded to architecture through things like digital architecture, where technology is used to solve architectural problems by biomimicking nature. The next thing we're going to talk about is the problem statement. So, our theme in this project is to integrate artificial intelligence technologies to create a smart building that can adapt to future challenges. Here you can see some of the challenges that our colony would adapt to. First one, a pandemic crisis, which one of the ways that the building might deal with this is by using smart biomaterials, which are inspired by the sarkins, for example. These materials do not pick up germs and they can be placed on the building interiors to prevent germs in a case of a pandemic crisis. The second thing is environmental conditions, similar to this robotic glider, which generates energy solely from the sun and the water waves. Structure through using high-tech robots like the KUKA, which you can see in here, which can help in building complex structures that are hard to build with the conventional method. Maintenance, which can help us performing tasks like cleaning the building exterior more efficiently and more easily. Fire control for detecting and diffusing fire safely by using explosion-proof robots like the ones that you can see here in the video. Energy monitoring, where you keep track of the energy consumption and the energy generation. Flexibility and adaptability, where you use machine learning to predict and adapt to any living needs that can emerge in the future. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the goals and objectives. So our first goal is to create a new AI-based lifestyle building where machines are part of our lives and they can help us perform the mundane activities that requires a lot of repetition and help us instead focus on doing the activities that require more creativity and innovation, the activities that cannot be done by robots. Next one is use AI technologies to adapt to future challenges, similar to the penguins who adapt by growing waterproof skin that help them survive harsh conditions. We also create building skin, for example, that can react and adapt to future challenges. Use technology to achieve sustainability, similar to this adaptable homeostatic building skin, which was inspired from the human muscles, where it opens and closes by getting electric shocks, similar to how the human muscle expands. And the final goal is open the door for future AI buildings in the region. Since our colony would be the first AI building in Dubai, we're aiming to set the standard for making more AI buildings in the region. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is the significance of the study. So the first significance is to be part of the digital era, where the digital transformation is already taking steps in Dubai, which can be seen here in the most recent Dubai police technologies like the robotic helmet that can detect people's temperature. And you can also see here the robotic cafe in Dubai Festival City, where everything is made through robots. The second significance is create a better quality of life for people, for example, through using self-driving cars and drones, for example, which are becoming more popular and is shaping the future of transformation. The third thing is adaptability to challenges. Technology can be used as leverage to create a more sustainable building structure similar to this one, which can respond to the environment. And the final significance is innovation of better methods to respond to the environmental conditions, like having the entire building form respond to the environmental condition instead of just adding a solar panel on the roof or making a small door. The last thing that we'll be talking about in the introduction is the methodology. So our methodology starts by defining the theme, and based on that we make a theme-based research, which consists of case studies and literature review. Then we move to site selection and we do a site analysis on this site. Then we move to the design guidelines, which help us create the project program. And then all what we got, the design guidelines, the simulation modeling, and project program, they meet in the experimental studies. And then from the experimental study we have a research outcome. Now these research outcomes we simulate it again to test our results, and we make more experimental study to get another research outcome, which will help us get a design proposal. And for the final time we make another simulation for our design proposal to get a final outcome and a final design proposal. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is the literature review. So our literature review is divided into 4 parts. The first part is how AI changed our life. A great example of that is the most recent technology where chips are inserted into the human brain to restore a lost ability like walking or seeing or predict human behavior. The role of AI in design. AI technologies can help greatly in building performance, structure, and construction. An example of that, as you can see here, is using the AR technology to help in the construction process. AI and kinetic architecture. You can see here as an example where you can use sensors to create kinetic system that can react to the environment. And finally, self-learning materials, which are materials that can change their shape entirely and restore its original shape when exposed to an external stimuli. Such materials have great applications in building skins. The next thing is case studies, which is going to be presented by my colleague Islam.
Okay. So we have 3 case studies. The first one is CAPS arc. Okay, so CAPS ARC designed by Zaha Hadid Architects in 2017, and with the design phase of this project, they use intelligent software like Grasshopper to generate the form of this building, which was inspired from this grid of Reno and bubbles. Okay, in this project, we interested in how they reach this environmentally responsive form, and they used a lot of strategies, like playing in the heights of these shapes of the hexagonal grid. Also, the hexagonal grid is helping them to build with less materials. Also, the open patios help to bring indirect sunlight into the spaces below, the wind catchers for the natural ventilation and cooling each yard. And last thing, the canopies. And for these canopies, they put it between the buildings so they can shade the spaces between the buildings when the people can walk between the buildings in summer. Next, we have the Galaxy Soho. It's done by Zaha Hadid Architects in 2012, and also in this design phase, they use AI software to be able to control the complexity of this shape and help them to create a shape that would be hard to design manually. And we interested in this project of the fluidity of the buildings and how they connected the buildings with each other in different levels by bridges and platforms, and the open spaces that create an internal world of continuous open spaces, the central atriums that help in the natural ventilation and sun reach all facilities in the building. Next and last, we have the shed. And this project done by Video, Renfro, and Rockwell Group. The new thing in this project is the movable steel shell covered by TFE panels, transformed physically on a double wheel track to support artists' most ambitious ideas. A lot of nice, flexible functions, like the MC cord, and this is the sheet's most iconic space, is formed when the movable outer shell is deployed over the adjoining plaza to create a line, sound, and temperature control hall for large-scale performances, installation, and events. Also, they have the Tish skylights and lab, and this also are striking spaces for events, rehearsals, and artist development. Next, the Kenneth C. Graven Theatre, and this can function as a theater or subdivided into more intimate spaces to suit the needs of a range of productions and installations. And the galleries here takes 2 floors, and they are expansive, column-free, museum-quality spaces. And last, the plaza can be used as an outdoor public space for any event when the movable shell is retraced to nest over the base building. And now we will continue site and program with Usama.
Moving on next to the site. Our site is located in Dubai, next to Dubai Design District, viewing Dubai Canal from the north side and Sheikh Zayed Road skyline from the west side. We chose this site because it reflects the project form through the outlines. It also complements the theme of our project, with Dubai Flamingo Sanctuary located towards the east side of the site. From analyzing the site, we know that the typology is flat. In the top right corner, you can see a QR code that will take you, once you scan it, to pictures and videos of the site from our site visit. The noise analysis diagram shows that the west side of the site is more noisy than the east side, due to different activities happening in Dubai Design District, in addition of 2 open event areas, 2 music venues, and a power station located in the south side of the project. The site is accessible from 3 main roads connected to secondary ones that shapes the outlines of the site. The road traffic density reaches its peak at the period from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. Then it goes back to normal at 12 p.m. It rises back again at 5 p.m. Then it keeps on decreasing until it reaches the lowest density at the period from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Different transportation systems are available around the site with 4 parking lots, 3 bus stations, and a single water taxi station, walking track, and a cycling track. The site analysis will help us develop design guidelines as mentioned in the methodology, such as sustainability, architectural, and construction guidelines. Moving on next to the project program. The site has a total area of 77 and 300,000 square meters, divided into building footprint, landscape and open space, and artificial intelligence infrastructure, with the percentages of 50, 30, and 20%. The building footprint has 2 building typologies. First, we have the commercial buildings with a percentage of 60% of the footprint and an area of 23 and 188,000 square meters. The second building typology is educational with a percentage of 40% of the footprint and an area of 15 and 460,000 square meters. Each type has different facilities related to our artificial intelligence project's theme. Commercial facilities include an artificial intelligence mall, colony headquarters, 2 retail business buildings, and a hotel to accommodate expected visitors to the site, and an all-year-long artificial intelligence dynamic theater inspired by The Shed, the case study presented earlier by my colleague Islam. The mall will accommodate robotic cafes, retail shops using the hologram technology, a food court, and a virtual reality sanctuary. 5 departments will be included in the centered headquarters. These are administration, finance, facility management, and IT department. And the 5th department is the most important department, which is the cybersecurity, which will be managing the whole colony. Moving on next to the educational facilities that will include a research center, digital library, virtual reality rooms, an artificial intelligence art gallery, exploring different ways of how AI can create art, a hologram exhibition hall, intelligence labs, computer animation studios, and offices for the faculty. With this, we reach the end of our interactive presentation to our senior project proposal. Thank you.